Art. Art. The definition by itself means to spark light in somebody's life. You see, to be creative, that means you are limitless in your ideas. Therefore, you are a philosopher. A philosopher who thinks of life and just paints a picture about it instead of writing it. But you can write as a poet and make it meaningful as a philosopher. By definition, a philosopher is someone who is excited by words and ideas to give him life. You see, a philosopher lives his life by his meaning. By meaning, I mean his means, as in, if he believes in work will set him free, then he shall work. But an artist believes in his work. Therefore, he's a philosopher. He works in his life. It's embedded in his art. You see, art, by definition, is supposed to be beautiful. And what's more beautiful than a person being able to think freely, I ask you? Few would say nothing at all. See, beauty is not what the eyes see, what the mind can go inside and understand that with everybody is truly beautiful. You see, if beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and we all see the same idea of beauty, then what could be more gorgeous than that? I sit down and I write. I embed my feelings into my words. That would be art. Feelings of sympathy and sensitivity in everything that I put down on a piece of paper. That's what we call an artist, I guess. But somebody asked me, what would you call an artist besides an artist? I would say performer or philosopher. They said, well, who would you send to your mom's birthday? An artist or a philosopher? I said, well, it depends. Because a philosopher has art in itself. I could give him to talk about how her birthday is art. And so I can do that with a poem as well. I've seen both because they're both the same. So then the person told me, well, let me give you this idea. If art is two-dimensional when you can see and touch, then a person who is working about their philosophy cannot be an artist. I said, no. He said, why? Because there's poetry in motion. And he said, well, one more thing. Would you consider a painter a philosopher? I said, well, if the painter believes that his paintings will change the world, I would consider him a philosopher. That is philosophy. So after that, it was, okay, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm not going to say I agree either. I told him I'm going to completely disagree by the fact that you don't agree with me. So, by the definition of art, to me, is never truly far apart. I believe they intertwine each other. You see, if I say wine, unwind, and wine, that would mean you can unwind, drink wine, and still whine about something. But for some people, that's philosophy. Yes. Yes, it is. You can go down to your neighborhood corner store, and that would be philosophy. To me, art sparks light. And light, not as in spotlight, but in truth. I write about truth because what can be more harsh? I can say beautiful lies are calamity, but no way things happen after you have a apartheid, which apartheid has to do with somebody breaking the law, saying we can be together. Different things that don't change, but they do the same. They're not an antonym or a synonym or a from them. They're more of Jesus and God, if you're a Christian. They're two different things, but they're really one thing and one being. And I would do that and say that in front of a whole bunch of people. I understand not being crucified. I can't really do that. That's hard. Poetic. Poetic. I researched the word called poetic. Poetic is narrative. A An epic poem is a heroic or heroine doing something in a great deed and we explain about it. What could be more grateful to the deed than a philosopher? Aristotle. No. Socrates. No. Neither of those. No, not those. The postman. The postman's mission: deliver every single piece of mail. By his oath to deliver in rain, snow, or beaming heat, he is living out this philosophy. A true philosopher. Me, until I get my license to perform, I guess. I'm a person who performs. Me, until I actually get my license to perform, I guess I am not a poet, but I am a writer who does things. But again, by definition, I live through my word, and living through your words and work would make you a philosopher and artist. But they say to be a philosopher, you must study. Who doesn't study their art? And then again, it may be different. Yeah, it's really, I guess I take offense to it if I write poetry with meaning and I have an idea of my philosophy, and I take that offense. But then again, who doesn't? If I were to tell a man and woman that you being a parent is not a philosophy, they would probably mock me and try to shoot something at me. And they would ask why. And I would say, because, well, we don't create art. And they would say, this is my son, this is my daughter. They're the best light in the world. And light, again, is truth. And truth, again, is apparently philosophy, if you take it into that. I can do this all day, matter of fact. Me, I write. Yes, I write, and to the point that my hand cramps, and I'm dysgraphic, so that happens more than often for most, like me. No, I said a couple days ago that I don't have a kind or a people, but my people. Or not my people, but my kind of people. But that in itself is a hard definition to understand if you don't see what I see, or a vision, premonition. I see two fractions. I see the fraction of humankind, and I see my kind of people, which are people like me. And yes, I would be more inclined to write a poem about someone like me, but there's no one like me because everybody's created different. You see the two fractions I'm talking about? Just me and everybody else. And then there's the people under me and my roots, but my root is a tree. You see, a tree has to bear fruit, and me, for to be a tree, I have to have roots, and my roots are with my kind of people, people like me. Not a big believer in Shintoism, but I do believe in the fact that we all manifest a different fact in somebody's life. If you grow up with foster parents, you inherit some of their traits. Therefore, we inherit the same trait as everybody else. Because no matter where you will go, there is somebody with the same type of stone. Not stone as in life stone, but more of a stone as in the kidney stone, which everyone has to pass. See? Everybody is basically the same, but they act a little bit different. They say that the genome in the humankind is only 99% different from anybody else. See? Not different, but the same. But then again, they say the same thing for poetry and philosophy, art and philosophy, but a topic that I must leave. Because I get really angry when people say it different. Again, if life is art, that means I can stand and be a mosaic. Not really, not really. I can't do that. It's kind of hard. My mind. Minds of mankind. I would say be less inclined, more inclined to be unkind. But they more be morbidly obese with things that they think, so that means they're pig-headed. Maybe they get that. Some got that. Change. Change. Change of the mind. The change of the spine. Change of the swine. Change of the spine, mind, and swine, and then some of the mind, and then you can take willpower out of the equation. And what you get is a being with no backbone. A being with no backbone, I guess that's today's generation. No, not my generation, but every generation before me, except for those before the 90s. No, more of the 80s, 60s, no. The people of World War II and World War I would say, have the best spine because they can stand up and stand in line and still fight for what they believe in. But today, we have nothing to believe in but ourselves. And I am full of faith in that fact because, matter of fact, I take a flag to stand by my own. And I hope somebody would hope and stand with it, but they believe in standing in their own. No liberal, but I believe in democracy. Not democracy as in hypocrisy in where we live today in the United States, but more of my democracy, where everybody can live in peace because, to tell you the truth, there's tribal people who are happy every day.